We are in the Dreamscape. I am Jacob, and with me I have Alyssa, who's going to be leading a movement workshop. This is the most recent of actually many that you can access. I think that Alyssa, we did a movement workshop last month, but we also did one some
A
point
number
last.
of months.
Mhm. And this is the thing we're going to be doing for a little while, sort of as the next iteration of Resident Artist Chats, which you can also access in this repository of audio discussions. Um, and these conversations are either conversations or led exercises are somewhere between half an hour, 45 minutes, or 2 hours if they're conversations sometimes. Um, and they are inviting guest artists of varying medias to either share about themselves or have conversations with their community, um, or lead workshops such as this, which is like movement meditation workshops, I guess. And they are funded by our Patreon, which we're currently in the process of changing the sort of parameters of that, just to make it a sort of community pot, so that everybody can join at any level and help our artist residents to see um, support for the work that they're doing. So that blurb being said, Alyssa, what's up?
Oh, well, I'm excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me again. We're gonna do, I think, as you touched on, a meditative movement workshop today, which is different than what we've kind of done before. Um, we've done a little bit more, I think, uh, choreographic and technical focused workshops before, so I'm really excited for this one today because I think this is something uh, everyone needs. And so it's great that it's being recorded because it's one of those things that if if it's enjoyed or helpful or beneficial in any way, you can go back to it, which is a huge benefit, I think, of being a member of this community is that you have access to things like that. So, yeah. So if there's no other like questions or anything, I think I'm ready on my end to just jump right in. As always, we'll get started with some constructive rest and adapted constructive rest, and yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Thank
I'm gonna
you.
bounce into the audience and be quiet for the next foreseeable future. Thanks for being here.
Of course. All right, everyone. Okay, so to begin, let's all find a comfortable position. I'll tell you that my place of choice is on the floor, on my back. I feel most connected to the earth this way. So I invite you to join me here if you would like, but if not, just find a position where you're not fighting against gravity to maintain it. I don't want you to be fighting to stay sitting up or in any particular position. I want you to be able to relax. So we'll begin. Allow your eyes to drift closed. Let's start with a deep breath in, about 4 counts, and then we're going to release it for about 5 counts. So here we go. In and out. Again, in and out. Once more, all together in and out. Good. Now see if you can maintain that as we go on. So today, our intentions are focus and moving with deliberation. So what does that look like in action? It looks like allowing every other thought and concern aside from your body and space right now to drift away. It looks like paying mind only to how you're feeling, the exercises I'm going to guide you through, and the ways that you can carry this feeling of peace and wellness that we're working to establish with you after this workshop in your day to day life, and then also into your work as an artist and as a human. Um, so, as we're continuing to breathe, I'd like you to scan your body. Are there any areas of tension? If there are, I'm going to ask you to check in with yourself and see if you're actively physically creating tension. For example, I am feeling a bit of tension in my jaw right now, and I'm realizing I'm sort of holding my jaw in a weird way. I'm kind of gritting my teeth. So on my next exhale, I'm going to release my jaw. Okay. And to be honest with you, that didn't really work for me the first time. So I'm gonna do it again, I think a couple more times, until I feel like it's actually working for me. Okay, that feels a little bit better. Once you've identified any areas of tension or pain that are being created actively, um, I'd like you, and you've addressed them, I'd like you to go ahead and just give your body a scan once more, see if there are any other areas of pain or tension that are still there. And if there are, go ahead, send some breath there, see if you can dissipate it. So collect all of that breath, locate the area of tension, and as you exhale, send breath to that area. Imagine it dissolving. Imagine the breath moving to that area and just breaking up all the tension. So as you're feeling your body release, I want you to feel the floor beneath you. Floor's got you. It's not going anywhere. And as a matter of fact, you can give the floor all of your weight and it's still going to hold you up, and I'm going to prove it to you. On this next inhale, fill your body completely with oxygen, so much that you feel like you're going to float off the floor. And then on the exhale, I want you to expel your breath completely and audibly and sharply. So we're going to throw away the counts for now. Release every single muscle. Ready? Inhale. Release. Inhale. Release. Inhale. Release. Don't be afraid to make noise. One more time. Inhale. Release. Good. Does your body maybe feel a little heavier now? Can you sort of feel how the floor is bearing your weight and how gravity is pressing you into it? The beauty of this workshop is that you don't have to do anything right now. Okay, no one needs anything from you right now. Your muscles just get to rest. But just to be sure you know this, let's do one last body scan together, okay? We're going to work from the bottom up, releasing any gripping that's going on. Direct your attention to your toes. Try to feel if the muscles are engaging. And if you have a hard time determining whether or not they are, go ahead and scrunch your toes and then release them and feel what that difference feels like. What we're aiming for feels like after we release. So if you need to do that as we move up, that's fine. If not, just manually release the muscle. Okay, so scanning up to the feet now, letting go, continuing up the legs to the knees. Joints can be a little harder to determine, but just simply aim for neutral. No major bend in them, no pressing them straight and locking them, just somewhere in between where you aren't exerting any effort, okay? Let us keep scanning up toward the thighs, the hamstrings, the hips. Again, search for some neutrality in that joint, in the hip joint. Up to your stomach, your ribs. Don't forget to wrap around to the back. Moving up to the chest and shoulders. I personally hold a lot of tension here. So releasing is a little difficult for me, but it's also very important. The neck, this is certainly one of the last places you want to hold tension. So really, really let that go. And then even move on up through your face and your head. Okay. Great work. I'd like to do that one more time. First, I just want you to acknowledge right now You're safe. Right now, you don't need to be doing anything else. Let's begin. So, in your own time, deliberately address every inch of your body and tell it to release. Move from the toes all the way up through the top of the head, through the whole body. And come to an end, finishing your scan. Take note of how you're feeling right now. Feel the difference between when we first began and now. Have you moved deeper into the floor? Have you relaxed your entire body? Are you still feeling any tension or pain? And if you are, can you change that? A few more deep breaths together. Okay, just checking in. Is everyone all right? Okay, let's move on. So, as you take a moment to appreciate what your body just accomplished, start to reconnect to your muscles a little bit. Slowly and gently start choosing some muscles to engage just throughout your body. Just see what that feels like. But also feel that when you're starting from a place of relaxation and connectivity, you have the power to make a deeper and more controlled muscle engagement. Right now, you're incredibly in tune with your body, and that's going to allow you to make more choices about how you use it. So take a few moments and on your own time, feel the connection to the floor, feel the connection of your muscles. And as you continue to do this and continue to breathe, I'd like you to start thinking about waves. The motion a wave makes and the variation in power in ocean's waves can be violent and destructive, but they can also be gentle and lap at the shore. The latter are the types of waves I'd like you to think about. So perhaps you've experienced these, floating in the water, maybe at the beach, or the current you've experienced in a lake or something like that, and how the current easily lifts and moves your body as you're just suspended there. I'd like you to think about how you can bring this motion into your body now. Nice and easy. Let's start at the left side of the body, move across, allow the wave to reverberate through you. And I'll give you a bit of an example. I'm laying on my back with my arms out to either side. So as the wave comes, it lifts my hand, it rolls through my wrist and my arm, my shoulder, the entire left side of my body, moving across my midline toward the right side, my right shoulder, right arm, and wrist, all the way down through my fingertips. And just as the wave lifts me up, it places me back down on the floor. Give it a try. Initiate the wave in the left side of your body and allow it to roll through you. Allow it to pick you up, place you down just a little bit at a time. Float in the movement. And when you had a chance initiating to initiate from the left side, try initiating from your right. Might feel a little bit different. That's okay. Flow up and through across the midline. Good. And now let's try changing up the direction a little bit. Your choice, either go from toes to head or head to toes. Think about how that changes the initiation of your muscles and the look and the feel of the movement. So it's that same sort of snaking, just light lift and drop. It's just coming from a different direction. And once you've given that a try, try the last direction that you haven't tried yet. So either head to toes or toes to head. It can be a very small, gentle movement. It doesn't have to be anything big. And let's come to a close on that. Taking a moment, checking in, touching base. Everyone doing all right? Anyone have anything to share? Okay, let's move on then. Okay, take a moment once more. Just sit in that work and appreciate your body for its capabilities. Take as much time as you need, but when you're ready, make your way to a seated position. Your eyes can remain closed if you would like. Just for reference, I'm sitting with my legs crossed and I'm just resting my hands on my knees. My eyes are closed. Okay, thank you for joining me here. I'm going to lead you through some stretching here from this seat. Okay, so let's start top down. Drop your right ear towards your right shoulder. Just breathe here. You'll feel that in your neck. Stretching takes about 30 seconds in a static position to quote unquote activate or for the muscle to start to release. So we're going to hold for as close to that time as possible. If you feel like you need a bit more intensity, you can take your right hand, place it just above your left ear, and gently pull down on the head. And then if you still need a bit more after that, you can reach your left arm out on a diagonal away from your body. Just nice and long away from your body. It creates that nice long line, gets the stretch a little bit deeper. Then we're going to turn our chin in toward our right shoulder to activate a stretch in like a slightly different part of the neck. You can leave your hand on your head and slightly adjust it toward the back of your head as it turns, or you can just remove your hand completely and just tuck that chin in towards the shoulder. The way I'm sitting right now, I'm kind of just looking just above and past my knee, my right knee. Again, you can keep that left arm long if that feels good. Good. And release. Let's repeat that on the other side. Left ear to left shoulder. You can choose your level of intensity. You want to add your left hand on top of your head, stretch out your right arm. It's whatever feels well for you today. Should never compare your stretching to anybody else's. Just whatever feels right that day on your body. Listen to your body. It will tell you exactly what it wants and needs. And let's tuck the chin toward the left shoulder. Again, you can just remove and replace your hand or just adjust it right on top of the head. Looking out slightly on the diagonal. These long lines. Really feel that neck releasing. Feels very, very good. And release. Okay, good. Moving on. Let's dip our chin toward our chest. Get a nice stretch right directly in the back of the neck. Again, if you want to add some intensity, place the hands on the back of the head. Give a gentle pull down. Good. And release from that. Let's move into some neck circles. So we're going to start. We'll drop our chin back down to our chest. Bring the right ear toward the right shoulder. Open the face up toward the ceiling. Left ear goes to left shoulder. Chin drops back down to the chest. Let's repeat that about that speed 3 more times. So that was 1. This is 2. Go at the speed you need, but I'm going to start number 3. And number 4. If you feel any pain or tension anywhere, feel free to hold in that position temporarily. Good. Let's reverse to the left side so the chin is to the chest. Left ear drops to the shoulder. Open up, face toward the ceiling. Right ear to right shoulder. Chin goes down. 3 more of those. Here we go. This is 2 for me. I'm going to start at number 3. And this will be my last one. Take your time though. And again, feel free to hold in a spot that you feel you need some extra attention. And relax. Okay. Let's take our right arm. We're going to lift it straight up so that it's in line with our shoulder. Place your left hand on the floor. You're going to use it to help brace yourself. Then we're going to curve our upper body toward the left with our right arm following. So from our right hip on the floor, going all the way up to the right side of our torso, follow with the right arm. We have this nice, long, beautiful arch. So our whole upper body is curving toward the left. Keep the chest facing forward as best as you can. Try not to collapse the ribs toward the hip on the left side. Think about as you initiate the stretch, breathe in, lift everything in the torso up away from the hips, then arc over to the left. Let's hold on to that stretch further and deeper on your exhale. Just a bit more. Good. Relax. Other side. Nice big deep breath in. Lift the left arm. Brace with the right hand near the hip. Curve on over. Chest forward. Try not to collapse on the right side. Good. Keep breathing. Keep stretching. Hold on to that just a little while longer. You want to think that somebody is taking your hand and pulling it towards them. They're standing, if our left arm is over, they're standing to the right of us and they're holding on to that hand and they're pulling it. So we're sending energy in that direction. Good. Let's do that one more time. Both sides. Lift the right arm. Inhale. And reach on over. If you have a little bit of deeper flexibility in these areas, maybe you can brace yourself not with your hand, maybe you want your elbow on the floor. If but don't push yourself if that's not something your body's ready to do today. If it feels well, give it a try. If not, and this goes for everything, if not, it's not for you today, which is acceptable and that's normal. And even if you quote unquote have the flexibility, it might not be for you today. Every day is different. That's why you need to listen to what your body's asking for. Good. Release. Other side. Breathe it in and stretch on over. Nice deep breaths. On that exhale, you use it, sink a little bit deeper. Chest forward. Good. Let's release. Ah, that was nice. Okay. Take a nice roll with those shoulders. We're going to lift both shoulders towards the ears. Then you push them back and away from you. Scoop in, bring them back towards your ears. Repeat. Try to make it a nice fluid motion 3 more times. This is 1, This is 2 for me. And this will be my third. Okay. And then let's reverse. We push it forward this time. Scoop it in. 2, 3, 4. Good. Let's take that right arm. Make a big circle with a nice straight arm. So lift it in front of you, directly forward, straight out from your shoulder. Keep it going up over your head, back behind you. Then come back to our starting position. 3 more. I'm on my second one out of 4. I'm on my third one out of 4. And now I'm starting my fourth. Let's reverse that. So bring your arm back behind you, over the top, and then in front of you. We'll repeat that 3 more times. 2, 3, 4. Good. And then let's take the left arm. So left arm comes forward, over top, behind, come back around. This is 2 for me. Bring it around. 3 and 4. This is so important to have joint mobility to do these sorts of exercises and stretches. Let's reverse it. Let's go back behind our body. 1, same arm we're working with. This is my second one. Third, joint health helps promote longevity. And this is my fourth. Okay, good. Moving on. Everybody good? Move on, actually? Okay, great. So we're going to move on. Let's take those wrists right in front of us and we're going to give them a nice roll out. Let's make a circle going outward. 1, 2, 3, 4. And inward. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. Give those hands a nice little shake, nice and gentle. Nice and gentle. Now we're going to move into a little bit of a different type of stretch. So still sitting, arms at our sides. Let's keep our lower body in place. Our upper body, our torso really, we're going to rotate slightly to the left. So again, let's think about sitting nice and tall, lifting up out of our hips. So you're going to rotate. So think about if you painted a square around yourself, a box around yourself. Your chest is going to point diagonally to the upper left corner of your box. Okay, so if you're sitting with your legs crossed like I am, I'm sort of hitting the midline of my torso and my knee are on the same line there, okay? So get that rotation. You're going to move your arms out in front of you. Let's bring them even with our shoulders, and then we're going to bring them toward the floor. See if you can touch the tips of your fingers to the floor. Then to the best of your ability, you're going to slide them along the floor until you feel a stretch on the right side of your back and in your right hip. So try to keep your back flat. This is the most important aspect. It's not how close you are to the floor. Your neck should be neutral, so don't tuck your chin, but don't arch your neck to look up either. You should be looking at the floor, probably somewhere in the area of your hands. Okay. Hold it. Breathe. Don't forget to breathe. Don't curve that back. Good. Come on up. Let's do that on the other side. So take a nice deep breath in. You're going to rotate your torso toward the right. Lift those arms slightly in front of you. Drop them to the floor, fingertips to the floor. Exhale, slide the hands directly out on that diagonal. Flat back, neutral neck. Hold, hold, hold. Good. And release. Let's take it one more time. We're going to rotate left, slide those hands down and out. Now what we're going to do this time is still keeping that flat back, still keeping the arms straight. We're going to cross the left hand over the right. Then we're going to move the right out to the side, left over right, right hand out to the side. So you're just going to walk yourself all the way to the opposite side. So again, if you're sitting like me with your legs crossed, your right knee will be about even with the middle of your chest. And if your legs are not crossed, that's okay. Just walk until you start to feel that same stretch in your, this time it would be left shoulder and left hip. Okay, good. Let's walk it back to the left. We cross the right hand over the left hand. Move the left hand out. Right hand over left. Left hand goes out. And just keep going until you get all the way to the other side. Hold on to that for a moment. Nice flat back. One more time. Let's do it again. Left hand crosses over the right. Right moves out. Left hand crosses over. Right moves out. Just walk it all the way over, making sort of a half circle with your torso. And one more time. Right crossing over left. Open up the left. Right crossing over left until you get all the way back to the other side. Good. And release. All right. Okay, if you're sitting with your legs crossed, please uncross them for me now. That's what I'm going to do. We're going to bring them straight out in front of you and then bring them together so that they're touching. Still sitting up straight, point your feet. So you can achieve this by engaging the muscles in the arch of the foot, as well as engaging the joints that connect your feet and your toes. And then we're going to reverse that motion and flex the feet. You can do this. You can push the heels of your feet forward, pull the tips of your toes back towards your body. Both pointing and flexing of the feet can be done with the help of your hands, like manually moving the foot into position. So if that's better for you, you can go ahead and give that a try if that seems helpful. Either way, try your best to roll through the feet. So when you point, the wave moves from your heel to the ball of the foot down through the toes. When you flex, it moves from toes to the ball to the heel. So we really have a little bit of like resistance in the point, ball, toe, and then we're going to peel it back, toe, ball, heel to flex. Let's give that a try 8 times. Pointing and flexing count as 1. Here we go. 1, 2, and flex. 3, and flex. 4, and flex. 5, and flex. 6, and flex. 7, and flex. 8, and flex. Good. Relax. Sit up nice and tall. Let's flex those feet. Reach both arms up overhead in line with your shoulders. Try not to let those shoulders creep up to your ears. Take a deep, deep breath in. As you release, you're going to do your best to fold over your legs and reach for your toes. So like we discussed before, the most important thing here is a flat, straight back. How close you're getting to your legs does not matter. The most important thing is that you're actually stretching your hamstrings, which is achieved with a flat back and straight legs. Hold on to that for just a little bit more. Good. And once we've held that for a bit, if you have your hands flexing your feet, remove them, point the feet, and then on an exhale, try to fold over a little bit further, okay? Again, flat back. Use every exhale to sink a little bit deeper. You don't want to be in pain, but you do want to feel your muscles stretching. Okay, we're going to release. Then let's roll back up to a sitting position. You're going to roll up the spine from the tailbone to the lower back, up past the ribs, the shoulders, the neck. Finally, the head is the last thing to come up. Good, let's take that one more time. Arms up overhead. Nice big breath in. Pointed feet only this time. Exhale, fold over. Hold, hold, hold. Hold it here. Breathe. And release, rolling up the spine, bottom to the top. Good. Great work, everyone. Just another stretch or two before we move on. Let's open our legs into a straddle stretch. So we're going to basically, what we're doing is putting our legs into a V shape. The rest of our body is the point of the V. And your stretch can be as wide or as narrow as you like, with the narrowest being maybe somewhere about hip distance apart, and the widest is just as far open as feels well on the body. So in order to widen your stretch, you would move your legs open so that the feet get closer to being in a horizontal line with your hips. Okay, so that would be that range of motion, all right? As we begin stretching, you can feel free to widen or narrow the stretch depending on what your body's looking for today. The deepest you can, like, that this stretch goes is like to have your stomach flat on the floor. So maybe even if that's the eventual goal, that's the image that I want you to keep in mind as we move into this stretch. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna walk our hands directly out in front of us. So those feet are out in a straddle in the V. And then go as far as you can to feel the stretch, but again, that you're not in pain. We didn't do too much to warm up the muscles, so this is just supposed to be a gentle sort of healing stretch this morning. Maintain that flat back at all costs. Exhale and move a little bit deeper. Make sure the knees are pointing up toward the ceiling, not rolling in or rolling out, which would mean you have incredibly flexible hips. Continue to hold just for a bit. Good. Walk your hands back on up so your upper body is completely vertical again. Good. So we're just sitting in that V. Okay, so like the other crossbody stretch that we were working on, let's rotate our torso toward our right leg this time. So lifting the torso up and rotating. Then we're going to lift up the arms. Give me a nice big inhale, then exhale. Fold over, reaching toward the foot on that right leg. It's almost like you're laying on your right leg. Flat back, knee is pointing towards the ceiling, neck is neutral. Good, come back up. Facing the front, then we rotate to the other side, so towards the left leg this time. Bring the arms up. Exhale and fold, flat back, knee pointing toward the ceiling, reaching for that foot. And let's take that again, both sides. So come on up to the right. Exhale, fold on over, reaching towards that right foot. Come on up to the left and fold over. Hang out there for a sec. Good. Come back up center. One last time, let's walk our hands directly out in front of us. That first straddle stretch, reaching toward the floor with the stomach. Flat back, breathe, hold it, sink on the exhale. Think about how much further you're getting down from the first time we did it. And relax. Walk the hands back in. Sit on up. Great work, everyone. How are we doing? We okay? Okay. Now we're gonna move on to my favorite part, some self-massage. So I'll ask you once again, find a comfortable seated position. I think I'm gonna go back to crossed legs. That seems to be pretty comfortable for me today. We're gonna send some attention to our hands to begin. Start with whichever hand you'd like. Take the opposite hand, which is what we'll call the working hand, and place the thumb of the working hand into the palm of the static hand, and wrap the rest of the working hand around the back of the static hand. So you're holding one hand with the other. And go ahead and take that thumb and knead it into the palm of the static hand. Use as much pressure as feels good. Make sure you really get into the whole palm, up into the fingers, all the way down toward the wrist, the heel of the hand. And you can also flip the static hand over, get the opposite side of the hand as well, between the fingers. Again, you can move down into the wrist if that feels good for you. Hearing all pops and cracks from my hands. And whenever you're ready, switch hands, other side. With these massage exercises, you can really do the massage in any technique or way that feels good for you or that works for you. This is obviously just a suggestion. I like to use the thumb. In the hand, I feel like I can get a good amount of pressure. And I can get, a good depth into the muscles. But the point of these workshops are that I'm guiding you, I'm leading you, but you need to do exactly what your body is looking for. Make sure you're getting both sides. Don't leave anything out. Good. When you're ready to move on, we're going to use that same sort of technique of kneading with the thumb, moving up into the forearms. So go ahead and pick a side and then start working into the muscles of the forearm. You can switch the grip slightly and massage the inside of the forearm with the other four fingers, and use the thumb for support if that works. So basically, I have my hand wrapped around my forearm with my four fingers on the inside of my forearm and the thumb on the top. And I'm using the thumb to move up and down the forearm to massage those muscles. And then I'm using the four fingers to massage the muscles on the other side. But again, whatever works for you. Just make sure you get the whole length of the forearm. Nice easy pressure. Make sure you get both sides. Doesn't need to be deep tissue, just make sure you feel it. Good. Let's move on up. We're going to use the whole hand to give a bit of a squeeze to the upper arm. So move all the way from the elbow up to the shoulder and back down again. Just kneading into the muscle with the whole hand. Make sure you get the muscles that are towards the inside. The biceps are towards the inside. If your arm is just down, so make sure you're getting up into there as well. Make sure the amount of pressure is comfortable. Should again feel more healing than aggressive. And make sure you get the other side as well. Cool thing is to get to know the muscle groups and which, which parts of the body hold these big, strong muscles and which hold more intrinsic muscles. That way, when you're doing things like self massage, you kind of know where to hit, what needs some attention. continuing up to the shoulders with the working hand, I'm going to cup my four fingers together slightly and tuck my thumb in. Um, and then I'm going to place my fingers on my upper shoulder. Wherever you want to start working is fine. I'm going to start at the base of my neck, where my neck meets my shoulders. And just going to use a little bit of pressure to rub circles along those muscles all the way from the outer edge of the shoulder to the base of the neck, a little bit over towards the back. I get super tight here, I get a lot of knots here. And make sure you're repeating on the other side as well. Actually a little sore here today, so I think I'm going to ease up a little bit on the pressure. Not really feeling like it's helping me, it's hurting a little, so. Okay. Now for something a little different for your neck, interlace your hands at the back of your head, sort of just where your head and your neck meet, and allow your thumbs to point straight down towards your shoulders. You should almost feel your thumbs sort of brushing your shoulders. Then you're going to start at the base of the neck. Use the thumbs to knead circles into your neck muscles. Move up and down and in and out as you need. Don't be afraid. Move all the way up to the base of the skull. You can even move along the base of the skull towards your ears, moving behind your ears, almost to the back of your jaw. Again, be cognizant of the amount of pressure you're using here. Good. And once you've had a chance to enjoy that, release your hands. Take the pointer finger and the middle finger on each hand and suction them together. And then you can tuck the other fingers into your palms, like you're gesturing or directing someone. And starting at the back of the jaw, just behind the ears, use those two fingers, make small circles. Move all the way forward toward the chin. Good. Coming on back, let's place the fingers slightly higher, just at the place between the jaw and the cheekbone. Use two fingers there, just massage it. Nice gentle circles. When you've done that, move slightly higher, go directly over the cheekbones, right there at the base of the temples. And then let's move on up to the temples. I'm even going a little further up along my hairline. All right. Okay, moving on. Let's use the sides of the pointer finger, so the side that's facing the thumbs, and we're going to gently massage the forehead. We're going to start at the center with a very easy pressure. Let's make small circles as we move the fingers outward. Try not to drag too much on the skin. Just slightly lift the fingers and move them outward between circles. So I'm doing a nice little circle, lifting and replacing my fingers, and then doing a nice little circle, and then lifting, and then circle all the way out, until I'm hitting my hairline. Repeat that a few times, do it at different places. Going to the very top of my forehead, just at the hairline. Going down towards my eyebrows, directly on my eyebrows. I'm feeling some tension there. And then also using the sides of the pointer fingers, let's come down to either side of the nose. Make those gentle circles just straight across, moving towards your ears. Again, that same method of slightly lifting so as not to drag the skin. This is a pretty delicate area, skin-wise and like pain tolerance-wise. So if you're really feeling some sensitivity, maybe don't make circles, maybe just give a light press along the area, still lifting in between presses as you move out and in if you'd like. All right. Let's move down to the legs. So still in a seated position. If they aren't already, let's move our legs straight out in front of us. We're gonna work on those quads or the upper front part of the leg. So pick a side, take the heel of that hand where the palm meets the wrist, and knead with as much pressure as comfortable everywhere on the upper part of the leg, even on the sides, especially the outside of your leg. That area tends to get really tight. That's where your IT band is, your iliotibial tract. That it gets really, really tight. If you've ever rolled on a foam roller, I had a ballet teacher once who was trying to explain where it was and demonstrated by putting her elbow into it, and I certainly felt it. All the way down to your knee, all the way up to your hip. And when you've had a chance to work on one side, make sure you're getting the other side as well. Gotta be even. You might want to take notice if one side feels significantly different from another. You might want to think about why that might be. Are you dominant on one side, or is there something else going on? Move in circles. You can press and push and roll like you're kneading dough for bread or pizza dough. Homemade pizza sounds like a great idea right now. Just really getting into the belly of the muscles. All right, let's get the back side of the upper leg now, the hamstrings. So we're going to pick a side. What you're going to do is you're going to bend the knee so it's pointing up toward the ceiling. Your foot will either be flat on the floor or the heel will be digging into the floor. Then you're going to take those four fingers cupped together again, and you're going to knead the muscles underneath your leg. Again, whatever pressure you want, whatever direction you want. Make sure you get the whole leg, knee to hip, inside and out. Whenever you're done, you can straighten your leg again. Make sure you get the other side. If your skin is feeling sensitive, you can always do this with some like body lotion. That would help too, to get a little, to let your fingers slip a little bit so that maybe you're not pulling on the skin. Okay. Whenever you're done, you can straighten out the leg. We're going to continue to move down to the calf or the lower leg. We're going to focus from knee to ankle. So the back side of the leg holds a lot of the muscle here, so that's going to be the majority of our focus. But we don't want to forget about the sides of our shins as well. So what I'm going to ask you to do here is adjust your position slightly so you can get a really good grip and a little bit of leverage. So still seated, our legs should still be out straight from when we last switched our position. We're going to move into a butterfly. So we're going to make a diamond with our legs. The 4 points are your feet, your right knee, your left knee, and the rest of your body. So take those feet, press the soles, the bottoms of the feet together. And then once they're together, pull them slightly closer towards your body. If you look down, you'll see the other 3 points, your knees and your feet, which should be, your feet should be opposite the midline of your torso, the middle. So from here, just pick a side, take your full hands, both of them, and like when we massaged our upper arms, we're going to take the whole hand and just knead into those calf muscles, moving up and down from knee to ankle, ankle to knee. In this position, your calf is already facing you, so it's easy to access, but also feel free to move around as needed so you can get to different parts of your calf and to the front of the leg as well. Your butterfly shouldn't be too close to you. Your feet should be a little ways away from the body so that you can really get into those calf muscles. Make sure you get both sides. Okay, great work, everyone. And lastly, we're gonna get to work on those feet. I find that like a loose butterfly position, obviously with the feet disconnected, seems to work best for this. If you want to get an extra hip stretch, you could place one leg straight out directly in front of you and then cross the ankle of the other leg above the knee of the straight leg. So if my right leg was out, my left ankle would come over my right knee, and that's how I would stay. But that's just an option for you. Either way, similar to how we did the hands, we're going to take the foot in both hands with the four fingers wrapping around the foot. We're going to take the thumbs into the bottom of the foot and knead up and down the length of the sole. Don't forget the instep, the inside of the foot. Move up and down at your own pace with your own amount of pressure. Don't forget to get into the ball of the foot just beneath the toes themselves, moving between the toes. Don't forget to flip the foot over so the thumbs get the chance to work into the top of the foot as well. And give the heel and the ankle some love too. Just make sure you're going easy on your joint. And make sure you get both sides. Don't forget the hip stretch is an option for you. You can be in any position you need to be that allows you access to the foot. So also maybe if you're having a hard time reaching your foot or really any part of your lower body, you can also use a tennis ball or a water bottle or a foam roller if you have one. Just really roll into those muscles. So you could press, say, like a tennis ball into the muscle and roll it back and forth with your hand. This works really for any part of your body if you can't reach or if you're having difficulty finding a good amount of pressure. You can lay on a tennis ball. I get kind of these weird knots like underneath my scapula sometimes, underneath my shoulder blades. Sometimes laying on a tennis ball is the only way to release that pressure. Okay. All right. Great work, everyone. Let's take a moment to check in. We see how everyone's doing. If anyone has anything to share, ready to move on. Okay, great. Here we go. So we're going to move into some improvisational movement now. We're going to begin working from a seated position so we don't have too big of a departure from that relaxation we just gave ourselves. So what I'm going to do is give you something called a score. In improvisational dance, a score is in some ways akin to maybe a guided meditation or maybe more like a writing prompt. I'm going to give you a list of words and you're going to move according to what those words evoke for you. So what the movement looks like and is structured as is completely up to you. We're going to do 3 rounds, which I'll explain as we come up on them. But first I'm going to give you the score, which I will repeat continuously throughout the exercise, so there's no need to try to memorize it or anything. Just focus on the movement and the intention of each round. So the score is sustain, repeat, wave, intention, whole. Again, that's sustain, repeat, wave, intention, whole. When you're improvising, think about how these words look to you in the form of movement and allow that to be what you experiment with. Think of how the words affect you and thereby affect your movement. Okay, so round 1 will be a seated position, and you will only utilize your upper body for your movement. So your torso can be used, but you have to remain seated. Again, the score is sustain, repeat, wave, intention, whole. Okay, here we go. Go ahead. Sustain, repeat, wave, intention, whole. sustain, repeat, wave, intention, pull. Okay, we're going to move on to round two. Round two will still be a seated position, but we're going to add the lower body in. So you must remain seated, but you can use any part of your body in this position. Okay, here we go. The score is sustain, repeat, wave, intention, pull. Go ahead. Sustain, repeat, wave, intention, pull. Okay, great work, everyone. You've made it to the last round. Round three is mover's choice. Same score, but this time everything is completely up to you. You can remain seated if you found something you want to explore here, but you can also get up on a different level. Maybe you want to get lower and perform the score laying down. Maybe you don't want to get up. Anything you want, you can give yourself restrictions or you can give yourself no limits. Anything you'd like to finish out today's workshop, okay? All right, last time. Score is sustain, repeat, wave, intention, pull. Begin. Sustain, repeat, wave, intention, pull. Find an ending. Wherever you are, or wherever you'd like to be, let's take a few deep breaths together. As we take these last few moments, let's think about how lucky we are to be able to join together to take part in something like this, to be part of a community like this, and to have bodies that allow us to move and to create. Close your eyes. And let's think of all the things we're grateful for. Big inhale and release. Let's think of all the ways we can choose peace in our day-to-day lives. To choose to do our best, whatever that looks like. To forgive ourselves for our mistakes. To understand regret is to be acknowledged and repaired but not lived. To go into the world with the energy we've built together today and to appreciate the small moments of peace and togetherness like we've been lucky enough to share. Deep breaths. Place your hands on your heart, feel it beat. Continue to breathe. Feel the surface beneath you, supporting you. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Alyssa.
Oh, you are very, very welcome.
That was really good. I think that worked really well.
I can hear that.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so glad.